a fleeting visit to the UK. So what's changed? Hello and a chilly welcome to Dan About Thailand. Yes, I said chilly because I'm not in Thailand today. I've taken a quick visit back to the UK. I'm from Kent, Medway Towns, and I'm in a little village called Hoo. It's early morning at the moment because I'm still jet lagged, so out enjoying this cold breeze. And the one thing that strikes me, let's start with this, is that the world is indeed a beautiful place. I've not come on here to criticise the UK and say about how wonderful I find it living in Thailand as an expat, and that people here should jump on the bandwagon and give it a try. I'm going to try and give a little bit more balance. It's actually strange when I come across the UK. It's like I jump into a parallel universe, and all the triggers and associations and memories of over a decade ago come back. And in some way I revert back to that person I was back then. And so it's an interesting experiment to see how this crazy mind works. And it just shows you that as you get older and as you move and do new things and experiences, that you continually reinvent yourself whilst only your core stays fundamentally the same. Some of the observations I've made here are, I've already said, it's quite nice to come out here and look at the countryside, but I think in some of the seasons, like now where it gets dark very early and cold, people just want to stay in. So this lifestyle culture of sitting indoors, eating your dinner and watching TV is still very much at the heart of how you do things in the UK, and I'm really glad that I've got away from that. I hardly watch TV in Thailand. I'm always out. The sunshine gives you that lifestyle, outside living experience, which isn't just reserved to Thailand. I'm sure if you can go to places like Australia or other summer destinations, you're going to find things like that. The TV here, I've got to be honest, bores me. It hasn't moved on at all in 12 years. I'll still see shows like Jeremy Kyle. Come on, are people not fed up with that? Come dine with me. You got your good morning breakfast formats, and they still do those money spinner phone-ins where they ask you stupid questions and you might win all this big money, but calls do cost you £2 and you've got to be over 18. It's like nothing has moved on. And this is what I think the benefit of travel and jumping from one society to another forces you to change and get a bit more breadth. So when I come back and I talk about how these triggers fall in place, it shows you how you can become compartmentalized and institutionalized by where you live, and only by forcing yourself out of this bubble and seeing how it's done elsewhere can you look to get anywhere near some empowerment and individualism that perhaps you might struggle with if you stay in one place. Again, this is not supposed to be condescending, it's just a general observation, because you know, I could fall victim to that myself. I've lived in Thailand 12 years, so sure I would have picked up some quirks there. Certainly some of the Buddhist way of thinking is much more inside me now. For example, you know, if someone cuts me up on the road, I don't get angry like I perhaps would have done in the UK. In fact, I'll probably emphasise a little bit more with why the person's done it and not want to upset myself, because after all it's only me that will be upset, and the person in front that's cut me up probably isn't aware of it. Some of the things I like about being back here are the supermarkets. So cheap, and it's the food that I was brought up with. The sausage rolls, the pies, the range of juice, and I've just come back here and I bought a lot of clothes for my kids, and the prices are much cheaper here and the quality is much better. So there are certainly some pluses. Takeaways, I'm making the most of my fish and chips, my Chinese, my Indian, my kebabs. A kebab here cost me £5.30, which I think if you work it out is a little bit more than 200 baht, and you can get a good fry up with good quality ingredients for between 160 and 200 baht. I can't help but think though the UK is still suffering from a little bit of Groundhog Day, where either days kind of morph into each other with very little differentiation. You certainly live in the rat race here, but I guess you have to. Mortgages and cost of living is expensive because property prices are crazy high. Yet by the same token, car prices are crazy low when you compare it to Thailand. I'm sure happy that I've decided to take the leap from the UK and try another country, and that doesn't need to be just Thailand. Now, it's not that I dislike the UK, I'm just glad I wasn't stuck on one chapter of my life and instead decided to turn the page and have a new experience.